everyone. My name is Ini and I'm a third year student adult nurse. And I hope you enjoy the presentation. Social justice is a crucial component of our day-to-day health and well-being as individuals and as a society. Social injustice is also a concept foundational to nursing. Nurses work in a socially just way to provide equitable care for all individuals, regardless of age, ethnicity, race, gender, economic status, religion, or sexual orientation. They raise awareness of discrimination and inequities, and especially those in relation to health and care. They also advocate and work towards the transformative change of health injustice and inequities. Over the last few years, social injustice education has become more integrated to nursing education, but the impact of this education on nursing practices and health outcomes is less often researched. It is important to evaluate the impact of social justice learning on practice, as it may affect workplace cultures and patient outcomes. The aim of this study was to evaluate the impact of the Nursing and Social Justice module offered by Canterbury Christ Church University School of Nursing. We also aim to assess the transferability of the module objectives into practice post-qualification and the enablers and barriers of social justice implementation and embedment into practice. This study utilized both qualitative and quantitative data from one-to-one interviews and an online survey. Data were collected from nursing alumni that undertook the Nursing and Social Justice module and have been in practice for more than 1 year. The data collected from the survey were used to calculate the extent of embeddedness of the module learning, and the interviews provided data to determine whether the module had an impact and the enablers and barriers to this. The quantitative survey data were collected using the normalization process theory tool called NOMAD. There was a total of 5 survey participants. This tool measures implementation processes from the perspective of healthcare professionals directly involved in care delivery. It tells us about the implementation of new ways of thinking, acting, and organizing in nursing care and about the integration of new systems of practice into existing professional and organizational settings. Among the survey participants, 1 person identified as other Asian, 3 is white, English, Welsh, Scottish, Northern Irish, or British, and 1 is Latin American. All 5 participants identified their gender identity as the same as their sex registered at birth. The age distribution of the participants was as follows. 2 participants were aged 20 to 29, 1 participant was aged 30 to 39, and 2 were aged 50 to 59. Among the participants, 3 identified as heterosexual, 1 as bisexual, and 1 as pansexual. 4 participants were enrolled in the BSc Nursing Adult Program, while 1 was enrolled in the MSc Nursing Adult Program. The online one-to-one interviews numbered only 2 and were semi-structured and offered participants an opportunity to talk about the experiences of the module and how they have or have not been able to take their learning forward into their nursing practice. Thematic analysis is now being undertaken using NVivo, a computer-assisted qualitative data analysis software to analyze the interview data. Interview participants reported significant personal development and shift in perspectives following exposure to the Nursing and Social Justice module. Participants express a newfound or enhanced openness to different viewpoints and a deeper understanding of diversity, which has transformed their professional and personal interactions. However, while 1 participant described a profound transformation in their approach to life and practice, the other acknowledged the importance of ongoing self-reflection, particularly in recognizing and addressing unconscious biases, suggesting that personal growth is an ongoing process rather than a one-time shift. Despite these differences, all participants agree on the value of open-mindedness and the necessity of continuous reflection to foster a more accepting and understanding environment. On the poster, we can view the demographic information of the participants as Figure 1, and Figure 2 exhibits the relationship between the 4 components measured by the NOMAD tool, which are coherence, cognitive participation, collective action, and reflexive monitoring. The NOMAD data were analyzed using SPSS to produce a radar plot as observed on the poster. This shows the relationship between the responses and the domains of the tool. The preliminary findings based on the NOMAD radar plot suggest that participants perceived the social justice module as well integrated into the nursing practice.
Thank you, Ini. Well done. So just a couple of questions. I think you've answered a couple of them already. So I think you've really nicely explained why social justice is important in nurse education. So thank you for that. A little bit of a methodological question. So around normalisation process theory. So that's obviously one of many models in this field of sort of implementation processes. So I'm just wondering why you chose normalisation process theory as opposed to any others as your theoretical framework? And I know Paula's helping you with answers maybe too.
Okay, I have a couple notes on that. So for this study, we wanted to measure the implementation and embeddedness of the nursing and social justice module learning. And the normalization process theory measures coherence, like I said, coherence, cognitive participation, collective action, and reflexive monitoring. The normalization process theory is an action theory, which means that it is concerned with explaining what people do rather than their attitudes or beliefs. And the NOMAD instrument is based on the normalization process theory and assesses the implementation processes from the perspective of staff involved in implementation work.
And is there any, from your preliminary findings, is there any sort of next steps or how you address some of those gaps potentially in what you're finding?
So as seen on the radar plot from the poster, we have high mean scores for each of the domains of the tool. So for coherence, for cognitive participation, collective action, and reflective monitoring. And these high mean scores indicate that the participants find the module content meaningful. They are actively engaged and apply it in their work settings. The lower variability further suggests consistency in their responses, highlighting that most participants felt that the module was embedded in their professional routines and would continue to be part of their future work. However, the small sample size, which is 5, limits the generalizability of the study, and the low participation is reflective of trying to reach alumni generally. So we did this study by recruiting alumni, and it was dependent on the alumni checking their email address, which was, we had participants say that this may have been an issue because not a lot of the alumni check their emails regularly. We could have factored into the small sample size, and it may be reflective also of what is happening in terms of what workplace cultures and what is being prioritized by nurses in practice. And due to the limited data and low participation, the next step for the study is we're thinking about collecting a further data set via interviews with targeted lecturers to explore their knowledge and observations around students implementing and embedding their learning.
Thank you, Ini.
Thank you.